where the IGG offices are actually We are awaiting for the police spokesperson Freddy Nanga to give us more details pertaining to how many people died and how many people were injured. Mulago is telling us that 27 people were injured and they're working on them, and we are also getting unconfirmed reports that 2 people might have died during that process that saw 2 explosions go off, and those individuals are police officers, but we cannot speculate right now. The explosions that went off today are very dangerous, but what is more dangerous is the misinformation that has actually been birthed as a result of these explosions going off. So before you disseminate this information, please ensure that it has been verified and it's not going to cause more panic among the citizens within this country. So right now, if you did miss all the updates in the morning, we would like to acquaint you with the latest before we interact with the police spokesperson to give us more details pertaining to the 2 explosions. Well, we do know that security officials and emergency rescue teams, yes, they did deploy immediately at places where the explosives happened to attend to the security threat on the country. Now, the explosion did leave a significant number of casualties in both hit areas. These were taken to nearby hospitals, that is Mulago and also KCA. We have more details.
That is where the banks are, the different tailors. I see even Diamond Trust Bank. Everything has been shattered, especially the windows, the doors to leading to these banks. It is a complete surprise to the country and a complete setback. The police are trying their best to take charge. I see the fire is being put out. It's almost out. It's not clear whether that is the very car where the explosives were, but at the time when we arrived, it hadn't completely caught fire, only that there was a little bit of slow response in terms of putting it out. Even the fire extinguishers that are in the nearby banks and what, people tried to improvise, but the fire was quite so huge that they could not put it out. I see one person just not far from here lying flat, and he happened to have been on a border. I see also a border just right there, from here, right from where I'm standing. I see a person, part of his head has been shattered off. And now the squad, they have just come. We are going, Chief. That's not how we proceed. That's not how. Sir, take it easy. We are going. Yeah, we're going. All this is happening because the police's response didn't happen on time. And the fire, of course, okay, it's very important to completely leave the scene. We have been ordered to leave the scene. By the squad. That is the bomb squad. So we are leaving. But all I can say is that we do not know how many people have died here. Yes, we are moving out. You can see the police is completely chasing everyone away from here. But it is also for our own safety, because no one has so far verified to see whether the explosives were in the cars that were parked here or not. It's not clear yet. So it is another chapter that the police has to begin on investigating. Who could these people be and what was the intention? Were they heading to Parliament? Because this has happened not far from Parliament. That is Parliament, that is the August House. As you can see, I see the Red Cross is trying to pick one person who was lying down, but part of his head has completely been ripped off by the bomb. And also I see like 2 motorcycles that are in between the vehicles that were parked there. They are said to have been ferrying people, and the people who are on those motorcycles, it's not clear whether they survived or died. That is the situation at Parliamentary Avenue as we continue to give you updates from NTV. So we are trying to give space to the investigating authorities, that is police. We are trying to give them space. They are now completely fully in control of the incident, full control of the scene. They are completely in control of the scene. But this has happened just like about 30 minutes later after the explosion. When we were in office, that is not far from Serena, we had 2 explosives that were quite loud, and people were wondering what could have that been, but we tried and at least tried to arrive on time. So part of the parliament, that is parliament, it is completely cordoned off. No one is supposed to be accessing parliament from now onwards. I see a red tape on the other side, and also I see a red tape close to parliament. Another ambulance also towards the Ministry of Education. People are standing outside and wondering what could have taken place. I see another ambulance coming in. But it's not clear whether everyone that was in the building, in front of in the buildings that were nearby where the explosion happened, whether they have been evacuated. Sorry. It's not clear whether everybody has been evacuated. So you can see, just when you're coming from National Theatre, it's not just about 50 meters to the parliamentary main gate. They have cordoned off the area, that is police. But this has taken the country by surprise, a complete surprise. There have been many threats that have been coming in, especially terror threats, but this one has taken everyone by surprise. It completely happened just right in front of the Jubilee Insurance building, that is Parliamentary Avenue. I managed to see with my eyes 2 bodies lying down. One person, the head was completely ripped off. Another one was lying with half of his head just remaining. And I see from a distance, you can zoom in. I see from a distance the Red Cross. The Red Cross, they are trying to evacuate whoever is available, and maybe those who have been injured. Those who have been injured. So.
Well, those are some of the pictures taken earlier depicting the cacophonous situation that unfolded today when 2 explosions went off at Parliamentary Avenue near the Jubilee offices that house the IGG offices. Parliament has since been cordoned off, and we also do know that today's plenary session for Tuesday has been suspended henceforth. We also do know that the police spokesperson Freddie Nanga shall be indulging the citizens of this country with the latest updates pertaining to the 2 explosions that took center stage in the CBD. One near the Central Police Station, or at the entrance of the Central Police Station in Kampala. Also, eyewitnesses of the explosion at the Parliamentary Avenue have expressed dissatisfaction with police following this slow response of the police to aid those who had been injured by the explosion. Minutes later, we did see police ambulances evacuating those who had been injured from the blast. Let's have more in this report.
I don't know any. They have given me.
What is this real? What is this real? For all this time there is nobody who can rescue the situation. No. And we have police here. And they had. And they are still. What are you talking? I've been here for almost 10 minutes. There is nobody who is helping people. No. Let me tell you. This is very wrong.
What's the problem?
This is very wrong. This is very wrong. The time the bank has, the time the bomb has bombed, up to now, we don't have anybody who can rescue the situation. What is this?
Let's move.
Members of the public criticizing the slow response of members of security to actually respond to this situation that unfolded today at those 2 points within the city, one at Parliamentary Avenue and also near the entrance of the Central Police Station. We do know that this is not the only bomb explosion that has gone off. Last month we did suffer 3 explosions, one on October 8th. It was targeting a police post in Kampala. No people were killed during that encounter, but buildings were damaged. Another one took center stage on October 23rd in Komamboga at Digida Pork Joint, and Emily Nyeza was killed, a waitress, during that encounter, and 2 other people were injured. That is Annette Chichoncho and also Rose Nachito. Also Simon, that is Peter Senyonga, was also injured in that fracas. We also do know that another bomb attack was on October 25th aboard a Kampala Massacre bound bus that was headed for Ishaka Bushenyi. A young gentleman called Isaac Matov detonated the bomb on the bus, actually killing himself on the spot. But one of the people who were injured in that bus was the greater RPC for Bushenyi area, and that is Adrian Kwetegereza, and it is also believed that he was the target of that attack. So meaning this is our 4th attack that is actually being owed to the Allied Democratic Forces of the Islamic State Central Africa Province, but they have not taken responsibility for this attack. We are still waiting for the police spokesperson Fred Enanga to actually give us more information pertaining this issue. Let's take a look at more updates. Sounds of sirens ripped through the air around Mulago National Referral Hospital as emergency response cars actually raced to the scene of the 2 bomb blasts in the city center. Ambulances ferrying victims and medical personnel rushing to offer medical assistance were also seen moving in and out of the entrance. We have more. Day pertaining the 2 explosions, but on the screen just beside me is this police spokesperson Fred Enanga, and in a minute also he's going to be giving us details pertaining those 2 explosions, one at Parliamentary Avenue and the other at the entrance of the Central Police Station. Let's take you there to Naguru for this police presser.
Yeah, very Okay, a very good afternoon, colleagues from the media. We've come up with a short statement regarding the double incidents, regarding the double deadly suicide attacks which occurred this morning in Kampala city. We wish to inform the public that we've registered 2 separate deadly suicide attacks within Kampala city. These attacks occurred today, the 16th of November 2021 at 3 minutes past 10 and at 6 minutes past 10. That is 10:03 a.m. and at 10:06 a.m. respectively. The first attack occurred near the checkpoint at the Central Police Station in Kampala city at around 3 minutes past 10. That was the exact timestamp that we got on the CCTV footages. And when we reviewed the first pictures that came from the CCTV footages after the incident, they clearly revealed how a male adult putting on a black jacket and carrying a backpack detonated himself, detonated the bomb that he was carrying, killing himself instantly. The spillover effect from the bomb covered a radius of about 30 meters, that is from near the checkpoint up to the front desk office at the Central Police Station. 2 other people were confirmed dead from that deadly suicide bomb attack near the Central Police Station checkpoint. Those whom we rushed immediately with injuries were 17. That was immediately. And these ones were the ones who were within the section that was covering the point of impact and the front desk area at the Central Police Station. But then the other building also that is adjacent also had other injuries. Another bomb blast occurred within 3 minutes. That was at Parliamentary Avenue, at Raja Chambers and the Jubilee Insurance Building, formerly known as the IPS building. And 2 suicide bombers were clearly captured on motorcycles, 2 motorcycles. They were disguising as border riders. They detonated the bombs they were carrying on themselves. That killed them instantly. Right now, up to now, our bomb experts and team of forensic experts are still documenting the scene. This is simply because we want to come up with the actual number of victims. We are seeing a lot of bodies shattered, legs have been scattered, and there's a skull which we believe are for the suicide bomber who attacked the police station at CPS. Then there are also other bodies that have been scattered. We can see legs, skulls, and other body parts that have been shattered and scattered at the scene between Raja Chambers and Jubilee Insurance, which we also believe are for the suicide bomb attackers. But outside the suicide bomb attackers at Parliamentary Avenue, at least we are confirming there's an extra body, which we believe is for a civilian. So right now we are still talking about 3 bodies of people that are dead, 3 suicide attackers who killed themselves, And the total so far of the injured persons we've rushed to Mulago National Referral Hospital has increased up to 33. So far 33 are injured and 5 are critically injured. Now bossins, like we indicated, have been cordoned by our joint counter-terror teams. And first of all, we want to extend our thoughts to those who have lost their loved ones, the 3 who have so far died. And we want to also wish a speedy recovery to the 33 who are injured and the 5 who are critically injured among us, the 33. Now you are all aware that these attacks come 22 days after the last suicide attack on Usif Safari bus. The hallmarks of the attack clearly indicate that the ADF-linked radicalized groups who still have a desire to carry out lethal attacks on soft targets using suicide attackers and improvised explosive devices behind these attacks. Because the nature of the bombs they are using and the nature of the attacks is their latest strategy. And our intelligence also indicates that these are domestic terror groups that are linked to ADF. Now these kinds of threats remain significant because IEDs and suicide bomb jackets can easily be built from common household items. We indicated some of these items like nails, metal scrap, ball bearings. They use phones and batteries, as well as ammonium nitrogen. Now, these are things that you can find in the market, in retail shops, and even in supermarkets. So this shows that the threats of such attacks are actually real, and we really need to be vigilant. Many of the businesses unconsciously sell these items to the public, but we call upon every Ugandan that we really need to be very, very vigilant with the nature of the attacks that we are seeing now. Of course, as the joint security agencies, these are attacks that we do strongly condemn. And although 3 suicide bombers have died in these double attacks, our our city task teams that responded also immediately covered we managed to cordon off the area, and we started monitoring movements. We managed also to pursue a 4th suicide bomb attacker and gave him a very good chase up to Waise, where we shot and disabled him and managed to arrest him. He's only identified as Mose. Immediately we went and managed to also search his home, where we recovered an unexploded suicide jacket and other related explosive devices. That is at Nansa Nakatoke at his home. It has been taken over by the bomb squad, but we are now pursuing other members of the terror groups. Now, although our joint counter-terror teams managed to mitigate bomb threats directed against our country for the last 2 days, of course, today's attacks still shows that there's a lot of work to do. We are going to try as much as possible to preempt, penetrate, and prevent other deadly attacks of this nature by domestic extremists in the days to come. As you're all aware, we have managed to counter several bomb threats in this country. The numbers are above 150. We've managed to neutralize several suspicious packages during this period and device-related incidents across the country. For now, what we want to tell Ugandans is that the bomb threats are still active, especially from suicide attackers. We believe there are still more members of these domestic terror cells, especially the suicide bomb squad that has been created by the ADF. And this calls for the popular vigilance of the community. We really need to be very, very vigilant. This type of threat is not a monopoly of the security agencies. It really calls for concerted efforts and the vigilance of the public. The threat is being directed against all Ugandans by an enemy whom we all know. So we want to reassure all Ugandans and visitors to the country that we are going to continue pursuing all terrorists, their agents, operatives and collaborators to help prevent the re-emergence of such acts of domestic terror. We are going to do this again in Uganda. Then we shall show you the nature, the footages that we captured, so that the public can try to have a clear picture of how this attack actually occurred at CPS, and also the riders who carried out the attack at Parliamentary Avenue. Mwebale nnyo twagala okutegeeza Abannayuganda nti ku nkya ya leero eggwanga lyaffe Uganda mu kibuga Kampala kyafunye ekikangabwa ky'amaanyi oluvannyuma lw'ebikolwa eby'abatujju abatulisa bbomu, okusobola okutulisa bbomu ez'emirundi ebiri ezaaviiriddeko Bannayuganda 3 be twakazuula abaafudde olunaku lwa leero. Abajambula bano oba basuicide bomba 3 be basobodde okufiira mu bikolwa eby'okutulisa bbomu olwaleero. Nakati we twogerera tulina abantu 33 abafunye ebisago. 5 mu bo balina ebisago by'amaanyi era tebasobola kwogera mu kiseera kino, naye nga tweyongera okubasabira. Ebikolwa bino eby'okutulisa bbomu oba obulumbaganyi bwa bbomu obwabaddewo obw'okwetulisizako bbomu bwabaddewo ku nkya ya leero ku ssaawa 4:03 eyazzeeko yagoberedde mu ddakiika 3 n'etulisibwa ku ssaawa 4:06. Bbomu eyasoose okutulisibwa yabadde ku CPS wano e Kampala ku ssaawa 4:03, era ebifaananyi bye twafunye mu mangu ago ebyavudde mu CCTV byabadde biraga omwami yabadde ayambadde jaketi nga asitudde ne baaga ey'oku mugongo gye bayita backpack, era ono yabadde asemberera checkpoint ka CPS n'asobola okwetulisaako bbomu gye yabadde asitudde, eyasobodde okumuttirawo kubanga olaba ebitundutundu ekiwanga n'ebigere nga bisaasaanye mu kitundu. Amaanyi ga bbomu gasobodde okukosa abantu ababadde wakati wa checkpoint ne ofisi yaffe eya counter eya CPS. Abantu 17 be basoose okulumizibwa ababadde wakati awo, naye abantu 2 be basobodde okufa olwa bbomu eyatulisibwa ku CPS. Bbomu ey'okubiri ebifaananyi tugenda bibalaga biraga nti bano abatujju babadde ku pikipiki za mirundi 2 era nga beefuula nga aba bodaboda, era olwatuuse ku kizimbe ekya Raja Chambers ne ku Jubilee Insurance ku IPS nabo ne batulisa bomu ze babadde bambadde wali ku Parliamentary Avenue. Bomu zino zabatiddewo, abatujju bano bafiiriddewo, naye nga omulambo gw'omuntu owokusatu, omuntu omu omulala yafiiriddewo ku bulumbaganyi obubadde ku Parliamentary Avenue. Nakati tukyeyongera okwetegereza bomu kika ki n'obulumbaganyi engeri gye bwakoleddwamu, naye twagala okutegeeza bannayuganda nti wano wetwogerera bannayuganda 3 be bakafa, abatujju 3 ababadde mabega w'ekikolwa kino abeetulisizzaako bomu 3 bafudde, bannayuganda abalala 33 bafunye ebisago, 5 mu bo ebisago bino by'amaanyi era bali mu kitundu, bali mu ddwaliro eddene obw'ekkulu ery'emulago. Twagala okusaasira abo abafiiridde abantu baabwe, ate ne twongera okuteeka abo abafunye ebisago maaso ga Mukama abasobole okudda engulu obulungi. Obulumbaganyi buno buli ku bannayuganda era buzze oluvannyuma lw'ennaku 22 oluvannyuma omuvubuka eyeetulisa ku bbaasi ya Swift Safaris. So kino kiraga nti abajambula bano abalina akakwate ku ADF bakyalina obwagazi obw'okutuusa obulabe obw'amaanyi ku bannayuganda. Twakyogerako emabegako eri ne tutegeeza bannayuganda nti buno obulabe buli ku buli ffenna, era bagezaako okulaba enguudo okuli abantu abatambula abangi wakati wa CPS awo abantu batambulirawo bangi, waliwo businesses ez'amaanyi. So kino kikulaga ekigendererwa ekyabalabe bano abatujju. Ate si bwe bulabe obuli awo bw'osobola okusaanyaawo amangu, kubanga ebintu bye bakozesa bye bintu bye tutunda bulijjo mu butale. Ebisumaali, amasasi ag'eggaali, shrapnels ebikozesebwa mu scrap, balina chemicals, balina battery, amasimu, bino byonna bye bakozesa mu kuzimba bomu zino ze bambala mu jaketi oluusi ne zibatwalira mu bag. So n'olw'ensonga eyo abasuubuzi tubakubiriza nti kino ekintu kitutwaliramu ffenna, tubeere nga twetegereza ate tubeere n'eriiso jjogi mu kutambuza emirimu gyaffe nga bannayuganda. Ekikolwa kino tukivumirira newankubadde bano abajambula basobodde okwetulisaako bomu ne bafa. Tulina essuubi ddene nti akabondo kano kakyalinayo ba suicide bombers abalala, kuba kati bano babadde 3. Jjukira nti oli ow'oku bbaasi yali wakuna, mujjukira Nsubuga Hamid yali agenze Padero yakutaano ate nga abavubuka. So buno obulabe bukyaliwo era mu bwangu ddala oluvannyuma lw'okuggalawo amakubo obubondo obuziyiza ebikolwa eby'obutujju mu ggwanga bwasobodde okulondoola omuvubuka omu mu bwangu ddala era ne basobola okumugobaganya. Omuvubuka ono erinnya lye tumanyi lye lya Moze, yabadde agenda okutulisa bomu ey'okuna, jacket suicide bomb owokuna. Yadde agezaako okutuddukako ne tumulondoola mu bitundu by'e Bwaise gye twamukubidde essasi eryamunafiiza ne tumukwata era ne tusobola okudduka mpaka mu maka ge agali Nansana Katooke wano mu Wamala Ward and Parish gye twazudde jacket endala ne bye bakozesa okuzimba bomu zino. Awo kwe tugenda okuzimbira okweyongerayo okunoonya bannaabwe, naye newankubadde nti obubondo obuziyiza ebikola eby'obutujju bukoze kinene nnyo, obulumbaganyi buno obwaleero bulaga nti tukyalina omulimu munene nnyo okulaba nga tulemesa ebikolwa bino eby'obutujju mu ggwanga lyaffe Uganda. Emabegako awo twabalagako nti twasobola okukwata abalina akakwate n'ebikolwa eby'obutujju muno mu ggwanga. Tusobodde okuziyiza bomu eziwerako mu ggwanga mu kiseera kino, n'okulondoola abo abavubuka abadde beenyigidde mu bikolwa eby'okuzimba okupanga n'okuzimba bomu zino ze bajingirira ewaka. Wano twogerera obulumbaganyi bwa bomu naddala obuviira ku batujju abambala suicide jackets ne beetulisaako bukyaliwo, tebusobola kuvaawo mu lunaku lumu. So kino kiba kitegeeza nti tulina okukwatira wamu, tulina okubeera obumu nga bannayuganda, ne tubeera nga twetegereza buli mbeera gye tutambuliramu, gye tukoleramu. Era mu kiseera kino twagala okweyongera okubategeeza nti tugenda kugezaako nga bwe tusobola okulaba nga tulondoola abatujju bano bonna, n'abo bonna abalina enkolagana wamu naabwe nabo, okulaga nga tulwanyisa ebikolwa bino eby'obutujju. Twagala okubalaga obutambi obwavudde mu kamera eza CCTV eziraga omutujju eyasoose ku CPS, engeri gye yabadde ayambadde. Babeera nga abantu baffe aba bulijjo, naye era twagala okwebaza, mulimu universities mu kiseera kino, kati nga Kyambogo University Makerere ne tertiary institutions endala zaakoze kirungi nnyo okulemesa buli mwana wa university okusitula backpack, baaga ezo okuyingira nazo mu university. So wabeerawo n'ebitongole ebirala, kubanga bakozesa nnyo backpack, bakozesa nnyo engugu. So kino kiba kitegeeza nti ffenna tulina okusigala nga tuli bulindaala. Katunulire obutambi buno ate tulabe ekiddirira. Adde wakati? Can you bring it in the middle here?
You begin with the one in the middle, the one with the back cover.
This is the first one at CPS. This is the suicide bomber.
So huyo baba mlage
Maybe afundika. The ones are called red.
oyo alika akamyuka oyo atambula oyo ne backpack ensawo yo ku mugongo. Kati yatuuse ku motoka za poliisi n'anyiga bomu n'etulika.
Then there's another version of another camera that captured him.
Kamera eyokubiri erasobodde okubaka ebifaananyi. Of course, at that stage, you would not tell that this is a suicide bomb, even if the picture, the camera captured him.
Avira ludda luli.
Nategereza eno waggulu.
Kabagirinde uyo.
So you will see him coming from this side.
Uyo ajja. Uyo. Nanyiga.
So,
Those are for CPS. For Parliament, the camera was at a certain distance, so it's not, you see it in a distance around here. They're on the motorcycles.
You leave it.
It was around 10-6.
10-6.
Yes, 10-5. Go.
Okay, you can live there. You can live there.
You see them? You see them?
Ababoda boda baba babiri obalengedde mubalengedde mujja kubalaba baabo babiri bajja abo ababiri abo aha
bici bbiri ffe tumanyi wamaboda
mubalabye
Were they all carrying
Okay. See them now? See them?
mubalabye baabo babiri
Were they both carrying different explosives?
Of course, they had explosives on them. So we are not bringing the list of the injured right now. So we've checked on the injured victims. Like we told you, there are 5 who are critically injured. Of course, the media is all around the hospital, but we request that for now, let's try to give those who are injured some bit of privacy. and simply help them to recover. Remember, they are traumatized, and amongst the injured there are some police officers. When you start sharing these pictures anyhow, of course it does have a way that it affects the others, and we really need to be cautious while sharing these images. Remember, they are images of the dead, and as professional journalists, you know how to carry these images forward. There are some bloggers already who are trying to bring about propaganda issues and sharing other videos from West Africa showing bomb attacks in West Africa, and trying to indicate that these are the incidents. We've clearly shown you the incidents of the explosions. So please, let's try to remain professional during this period. So mu Luganda njagala okusaba bannamawulire n'abantu baffe ba bloggers ababeera ku social media nti abalwadde tulina 3 abafunye ebisago eby'amaanyi bali 5, naye twandisoose ne tubawaamu akalembekereze. Tulina bangi abagenze mbulago okwagala okufuna ebifaananyi byabwe, naye nga bw'omanyi omuntu afunye ekikangabwa bangi bali mu kutya kw'amaanyi. Mulimu n'abapoliisi abafunye ebisago abali ku ndiri. Kiina engeri gye kisobola okukosaamu bannayuganda abalala. Mulimu abagenze ne bakuba ebifaananyi byabo abafudde. Ebifaananyi bino bibeera bya ntiisa, so tubeere abakugu mu kiseera kino, tujje ebifaananyi mu ngeri eyamba abalala. Era abalabe ba Uganda ba bloggers abamu bafunye entambi ez'ebikola eby'obutujju ebyali mu West Africa, batandise okubisuula mu ntimbe. Tulage okwagala eri eggwanga. Mwebale nnyo, mwebalire ddala. We shall give the next update after getting very clear information from the public. And I think we are not going to share anything outside this statement for now. Yes. Let's have 1, 2, 3, 4 questions in that order.
On the reduced radio 1 and radio talk house, you mentioned of the 3 people who have died, the victims. Do we know the identities of?
No, we can't. I said we can't release this for now, really. Okay?
Enguudo nnyingi Kampala ziggaddwa zirese jamu abantu ku ssaawa zino enguudo ezo mugenda zitaddi era bizinesi enguudo ezo zemusibye abantu tebakola paka
Kampala essaawa ali safe kyenkana ki bene ekyokubiri bomu zino ezisukkirira ddala security embeera mukyagirina mu mikono gyamu naddala nga tugenda mu festive season.
Okay. We said 4 questions. Let's go to one last question.
I'm called Michael from CGT. We just want clarity on the numbers. Are they, so we know there are 3 suicide bombers, 3 civilians, and then was the 4th person in Wise today, was shot today.
Yeah, we think. Okay, I'll clarify that. All right, I think in the interest of time, let's just answer these. These are the same questions which are rotating around the same thing.
I found it's not the same question. Some other question, different question.
What is it?
The damage to these bombs have caused is severe as compared to the first damage, the first 2 bombs. Is there any difference that you found out in these
separate attacks.
You see what I was telling you?
Finally, I've got an uneasy. There's information moving around. If you can help us confirm, was there another bomb that was dropped in a gift bag around?
One, the fourth person, the fourth second was shot. Was he part of this group? Was he going elsewhere? How is he connected to this whole thing? Then the second one, we had a number of explosive sounds in the city center. Were there other bombs that had been placed somewhere that were being detected? What were these sounds basically as police was communicating?
Okay, thank you very much. Now, Jude, like I indicated, we have our team of forensic experts as well as the tactical teams from counter-terrorism that are still documenting the double scenes, the one at CPS and also at Parliamentary Avenue. We so far have 2 dead from CPS and the third body of a dead person at along Parliamentary Avenue. We are going to come up with a list of the dead and also those who are injured, but we need some privacy for those who are injured. Remember, these are people with families. They are traumatized at this stage, and we don't want to rush into giving out the details. Now, secondly, the issue of usually in addressing some of these attacks, remember that there are usually follow-up bombs or additional subsequent bombs that are planted. And for that matter, we had to cordon off certain roads for safety reasons and also to help us to safely evacuate some of the injured persons and further document the scenes of crime. The director operations and also the other senior officers from the UPDF, the joint intelligence teams are all present. We expect that by this evening we shall have all the roads opened. But we've deployed all our traffic officers to create safe passage for motorists and also other members who are within the city, those who are transiting through the city, to ensure that they actually get out. Yeah, of course, the city is, these incidents are just like any other incidents. These ones cause panic, terror, and fear. But of course, we've always given Ugandans the assurance. This is a country that is, I believe, the most peaceful in this region. And that doesn't come by mistake. It simply comes out of our strategies, our approaches in countering a number of threats internally and externally against our country. And I want to assure you that we are going to do whatever is possible. This other pursuit that we made and countered a 4th suicide bomber is not by mistake. It's out of our initiatives. It is out of our strategies and response plans. So the other areas of Kampala are still safe for now, and we are trying as much as possible to create space for other people to leave the city. And for those who are still in the city, we have not evacuated anyone. We are simply concentrating on areas where these attacks have occurred, and we continue to do so. The colleague from CTV, we want to let you know now that there are 3 people who are confirmed dead, Ugandans. The 3 attackers, the one from CPS and the other 2 at Parliamentary Avenue, those are the other 3 who died. So in total 6 people have died, but of course including the 3 suicide attackers. And I indicated that we pursued the 4th attacker. He didn't have this suicide jacket on him, but of course they are amongst those ones. Every day we come out to pursue these suicide attackers and other perpetrators of violence in this country. So they were surveilling him, and it managed to be a successful operation. We proceeded and we were able to recover 2 bombs from Mose at his home in Nansana Katoke, and they're all going to be detonated by the bomb squad. So all those are efforts. Mabirizi is safe. There is no additional bomb. We have indicated the one by the suicide bomb at CPS and the 2 riders at Parliamentary Avenue. So those are the questions. Okuddamu mu Luganda. Wali abadde abuuza nti bannayuganda abasatu abafudde, ne mutegeeza nti amannya gaabwe tetugenda kugafulumya mu kiseera kino. Tusuubira nti wayinza okubaayo ate n'abalala abafunye ebisago abaddusiddwa mu malwaliro amalala awatali mu mulago. So abo bonna tulina okulaba nga tulondoola okulaba nti tufuna ennamba entuufu. Naye kati bannayuganda abakafa bali 3, abatujju abafudde mu nkola y'okwetulisako bomu 3, n'abakafuna ebisago omuli bali 3 mu 3, 5 bafunye ebisago nga byamaanyi. Mu kiseera kino director wa operations ne ba commanders okuva mu UPDF, abakugu baffe okuva mu kabondo ak'abakesi, bonna bali mu kibuga wakati. Tusuubira nti bwe bunaazibira tujja kuba tumaze okwaza n'okukuŋŋaanya obujulizi mu kitundu ekyo tusobole okugula amakubo. Lwaki tuggalawo amakubo? Kiba kituyamba okufuna engeri gye tusobola okutaasaamu n'okuddusa ababa bafunye ebisago, n'okulaba nti abantu abalala tebasaalimbira mu kitundu ekyo. Bomu zino abatujju enkola yaabwe eri nti tebatera kutega bomu emu yokka. So kyovudde olaba oluusi tusala amakubo, tuziba amakubo kitusoboseze okwetegereza ebitundu ebiba biriraanye awantu awo. Waliwo awadde abuuza ng'abuuza ekibuga Kampala oba ddala kitebenkevu. Ekibuga kyaffe Kampala kye kimu katugambe ekibuga ekikyasinze okubeera ekitebenkevu mu kitundu kino ekya East Africa okutwaliza awamu. Ne Uganda yokka ng'eggwanga lyerimu ku ggwanga erikulembedde mu kubeera n'obutebenkevu. Kino si kya mukisa bukisa, naye nga kiraga nti tubadde tukola butaweera okulaba nti tutebenkeza embeera mu ggwanga. Obulabe bwerekeddwa ensi yaffe Uganda si bubadde butono. Emyaka gino gyonna tuzze nga tutangira ebikolwa eby'obutujju, tuziyiza ebikolwa eby'obutujju n'obulabe obulala obusibuka wakati mu ggwanga ne wabweru mu ggwanga. Ekyo tubadde tukikola. So newankubadde bino byabaddewo, eggwanga ekibuga Kampala tetugadde kibuga, kubanga tugenda kusigala nga tulondoola. Ekyokulondoola omuvubuka Moze gwe tusobodde okulondoola ne tumutuusaako ekisago ekyaviiriddeko okumukwata, twasobodde okweyongerayo mu maka ge Nansana Katooke mu Wamala, era ne tuzuulayo ebbomu endala 2 ze tugenda okutulisa. Aba bomb squad bagenda kuzitulisa. Naye kino kikulaga nti abantu bano tubamanye era tugezaako okulaba nga obubondo bwonna obutendeka abantu bano, obubawandiisa, obubasikiriza n'obubagulira ebikozesebwa mu kuzimba bbomu zino, obubondo obwo bwonna tujja kubusaanyaawo. Waliwo abadde abuuza nti bameka abaakalumizibwa. Bannayuganda 3 be baafudde, abatujju 3 baafudde, n'abalala 3 be baafunye ebisago. Mwebale nnyo, mwebalire ddala.
All right, the police spokesperson Fred Enanga has attributed today's twin explosions to the Allied Democratic Forces, or the ADF, who are operating in the eastern parts of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Now, in March of this very year, the United States came out with information saying that the Allied Democratic Forces have since joined the Islamic State, and now they are calling themselves the Islamic State Central Africa Province. Now, in regard to the explosions today, he says one at CPS went off at 10:03 a.m. Yes, killing the suicide bomber instantaneously after he detonated the bomb, and 2 other civilians also died during the CPS detonation of that explosion. Another deaths were registered around Parliamentary Avenue when 2 suicide bombers detonated their bombs aboard their border borders. They were border riders passing through Parliamentary Avenue near the Jubilee offices that house the RGG offices, and they detonated their border borders when they were in motion in that regard, killing themselves and also another civilian in that regard. So those are 6 people in total. That's the latest we are getting right now. Now, there was another bomber, a 4th bomber, who was actually pursued all the way to Waise. He was shot and injured, and this is when he stopped, and then he took the police officers to Nasanakatoke, where they uncovered or unearthed 2 unexploded suicide vests in that regard. So the police spokesperson Fred Enanga says the security threat is still dire, and is calling for vigilance from members of the public to actually keep a keen eye out there, so that we do not fall victim to another bomb blast in that regard. Now, the attack comes 22 days after the attack on the Swift bus. You remember the Kampala Massacre Highway bomb blast? Yes, that killed the assailant, that is Isaac Matovu, who is also known as Mustafa. Now, he detonated this bomb on the Swift bus, killing himself and injuring the RPC for Greater Bushenyi, who was just behind him, and that is Adrian Kwetegereza. Adrian Kwetegereza was taken to Nsambia Hospital, and he has since recovered. Many other people were injured during that bomb blast. It's not the only one that has befallen this jurisdiction of Uganda. On October 8th, we also did see an attack on a police post by the ADF. No one was killed during this encounter, but there was damage to the police buildings and other military installations in its vicinity. On October 23rd, we did see an attack on around Komamboga, Digida Pork Joint, as revelers were actually enjoying a good time in the evening. Another bomb actually went off in that regard, killing Emily Nyinanyeze. She was a waitress at Digida Pork Joint, and also injuring Annette Chichoncho and also Rose Nachito. There's also another gentleman, Peter Senyonga. Now, some of those injured were actually grappling with no money to actually cover their medical expenses. So that is another conversation the police can also look at for the survivors of these attacks, who's going to be footing the bills in that regard. So those are some of the details coming in. We also do know that Parliament has been condoned. No plenary is not taking center stage. What else do we know? There is no additional bomb, but vigilance is a must. That is what the police spokesperson Fred Enanga is telling us at this opportune moment. So in total, we do have 6 people rather, who died today. 3 suicide bombers and 3 Ugandans or civilians in that regard. More details will be coming your way in our subsequent news bulletins. That is Akawungezi and also NTV Tonight. Keep it here on NTV Uganda.